Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing about an experience that happened this week. I went out to lunch with my mom, and as we were sitting, this bird came up to us, and it was very shocking because he came very close. He didn't want to move, and he just kept asking for some of our food because, we had a sandwich, and my mom gave him a piece of her bread. And so he sat there and he ate it and he just kept looking at us. And I had a salad with croutons on it. So I said, okay, well, maybe he'll like the crouton. So then I grabbed the crouton and I threw it on the ground. Well, he looked at it and he's like, no, I don't want that. And when that happened, I felt something in my spirit and I felt like God was saying that the bird knew better. See, the birds are very sensitive. They know. He knew that he could come up to us and ask for food. And he wasn't scared. He was very, very close. But I looked at that bird and I was amazed because I was like, wow, this bird knows better. He's not dumb. It's like he looked at me like, I don't want that. That's processed. That's been messed with. I want the real food. I want the real bread. And God had already been speaking to me earlier that week. Funny because me and my daughters were having this conversation where we're having this discussion about how some of these artists that we like, we actually know that they use autotune. And when I was having that conversation with them, God kept bringing that to me, autotune. And then later on during the day, I look on the internet and I start seeing this trend of how they're speaking about these robots or, certain ways, what's it called, AI. And I was seeing how these robots, this new technology, it can use something that's original and they can turn it into something else and take credit for it. And then I proceeded to ask God, okay, what does this mean? And like he was telling me, right now around this time, when things are getting exposed, when things are getting more narrow for the people of God, there's a lot of false prophets, there's a lot of pastors, preachers, people that are just making a mess out of things. And on the other hand, the real sons and daughters of God are rising up. And he was telling me fake ones are starting to feel the heat because they're being exposed for what they're not able to do. Almost to the point to where I felt like God was showing me that they're going to get so desperate to the point to where they're going to start stealing messages from people and calling it their own. Now I know I've heard of some people doing that already. I was seeing how these artists, they spend hours and hours. They've been doing this their whole life. They do this artwork, this art piece. And as soon as they put it on the internet, somebody can take it, put this new technology on it, make it slightly different. They don't even give credit to where it's due. They want to take the credit. God was saying that I will expose it. For those fake people on stage, on the pulpit, on the internet, all these people claiming to be his sons and daughters, he says that he's going to expose it. They're stealing ideas and they're putting their name on it. God will have the last laugh. The enemy is not going to be able to taint what God has been doing through his people. His people that have actually been paying a price, that have been carrying their cross all this time. He's not going to allow somebody, a fake, to come in and take credit or deceive. And what he was also saying was that his people of God, the people of God, like this bird, that this bird had discernment. He knew that that crouton was not real. It was not real food. It had already been messed with. He wants organic. The bird of the air wants real food, not all these chemicals and preservatives and all these things that are not good for you. God is not going to give you that. And what God was reminding me about was that these people are going to be so envious of his true sons and daughters of God. They're going to try everything and anything to keep their money going, their fame, their power, what they think they have, but it's not going to last. And God was reminding me about, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, before Jesus showed up on the scene, these Pharisees had all this fame. They wanted the glory, they wanted the recognition. They wanted to wear all this clothing so that they could be seen, so they could be acknowledged, so they could be held on high, even though they knew they were not living right. They were hypocrites. They were not true sons and daughters of God. They took advantage of the people because they wanted the fame, they wanted the honor. But God is saying, no, I'm gonna expose it now. I'm gonna bring clarity. I'm gonna bring exposure. That the people of God who truly have discernment, his people, will be able to know who's true and who's fake. These Pharisees had a long time deceiving the people, but once Jesus showed up on the scene, they became angry because they could no longer deceive. They couldn't hold on to that power any longer. Their fame was being taken from them. The true people of God, their eyes were being opened. So this is the message that the Lord wanted me to share with you guys. I pray that it blessed you. If you have a comment, leave it down below. Until the next video.